All right. So this is my first live stream from the new channel. First live stream on the new channel. And I want to break the channel open with a discussion about a few fights. Fights that I believe are the biggest fights of the year. What is wrong with this thing? You have to bear with me. I've been having all kinds of technical difficulties all day. What in the world? Can y'all see that? That's what I'm talking to. There we go. These fights that'll be here very soon are two of the biggest fights we've had in a very, very long time. Okay, Shevchenko Santos was the biggest female bout, but this rematch surpasses it. It's just a much bigger fight. I don't know if y'all remember, I predicted that Santos would be Shevchenko's most difficult opponent. I said that before the fight. I said this is going to be Shevchenko's the toughest challenge she's faced in the UFC, not just in the flyweight division. I said that Santos is going to be more difficult than Amanda Nunes. Said it before the fight. Now, she turned out to be Shevchenko's most difficult opponent at flyweight, and I would argue at bantamweight as well. I feel like Shevchenko had a tougher time with Santos than she had with Nunes in either of their fights. Quiet as kept, a lot of people don't talk about it. Shevchenko was in trouble against Juliana Pena. Okay, so this is a huge fight because it's Shevchenko in a position we've never seen her before. And that is a position of trying to regain a title. Now, not many fighters have to face that, but this is Valentina's first defeat. First defeat from a psychological standpoint. This is the first defeat that Shevchenko has to concede was a legit through and through defeat. She couldn't say that it was an illegal upkick by Liz Carmouche. She could not say that she actually won the 5 rounds like she did in the Nunes rematch. She had to face something she's never faced before, and that is defeat. She had to accept it. And I don't know what that is going to do to her psychologically. If there's anything that would change you and throw you off your game, that will sort of throw a monkey wrench into your psyche, it is that. We've never seen it. Being in a position you've never been in before. Now, I'm taking Alexa Grasso over Valentina Shevchenko. That said, Shevchenko could very well win this fight. But I believe for Shevchenko to win this fight, she has to look better than she looked in the first fight. She has to be more aggressive with Alexa Grasso. Maintain responsible defense as much as possible. As long as you increase your aggression, and Shevchenko needs to stop Grasso. That's why I'm taking Grasso, because Grasso is hard to stop. I know she got choked out by Tatiana Suarez. But Alexa Grasso is a small, strong, little fighter. She's extremely feisty on the ground. And on the ground is Shevchenko's best chance of stopping Grasso. She knows that. But on the ground, Grasso seems to be one of the most difficult fighters to stop. Extremely difficult. It's almost like impossible. Compare how Shevchenko's previous opponents looked in that crucifix to how Grasso looked. And you won't know until you go look at it. Compare it right now. Pull up Chukagian in the crucifix. Pull up Jessica Andrade. Okay, Priscilla Cachoeira. These girls didn't even sort of escape. They didn't come close to escaping. When you watch Shevchenko put that crucifix on Grasso, Grasso she twist her body and sort of moved in a circle. Shevchenko could not control her. Shevchenko, it's hard to control Grasso on the ground. That's what I'm trying to say. It's hard to control her on the ground. She throws strikes when she's on the ground. She's hard to stop. I think Valentina's best chance is to get to choke her out. Choke Grasso out. Not no armbar. The way Grasso body move, no. I don't even see her getting armbarred. And Shevchenko is not prolific with armbars. And listen, on the ground, Shevchenko's favorite way to defeat you on the ground is with ground and pound. Her favorite method of defeating you, is not by submission. She's not really like a Aaron Blanchfield type. Valentina is more of a ground and pound finisher, which is odd. Most females, their bread and butter, if they are a wrestler, grappler, is submission. Grasso is hard to keep down, pin down, control, and beat on. I'm taking Alexa Grasso. Listen, trust me. I'm surprised that I'm taking Alexa Grasso. It don't even feel right. You have no idea how difficult and odd this is for me. This could blow up in my face. Oh well. That's what makes it fun. Yeah? On the feet, Alexa Grasso, with her fists and feet, she really don't do much. She don't do much. She's not throwing a barrage of strikes. She's not overwhelming you with volume. But what little she does, I think, throws Valentina off. And that is Grasso continuously walks forward. Okay, that's one. Walk forward, as well as keeping a high guard. Shevchenko is used to just easily hitting fighters. Not with Grasso. Not only is Grasso's hands always up, covering her face. I mean always. When you punch her, maybe you punch through the guard. She's not fazed, not bothered. Look at Grasso's face every time Shevchenko threw and or landed a shot. Look how unbothered Grasso is. I don't think Grasso is all that impressed with Valentina's power. I don't. I don't think Grasso views Shevchenko as a type of fighter with power she needs to stay away from. She views Valentina as a fighter with power that she can handle. I can deal with this. I can take a few of these. In fact, take a few of them to give some of mine back. I can walk in on her. I can march her down. She don't hit quite that hard. And which is very puzzling, people. Let me break down to y'all why this is a problem. Alexa Grasso is not that worried about Shevchenko's power. People, that's unusual. When that fighter that you're talking about is lightning fast. Most girls are intimidated by the speed alone. Not Grasso. She keeps her hands up and she doesn't seem too worried about the damage that her shots will cause if they land. Grasso has more confidence in her power to hurt Valentina than she is worried about Shevchenko's power to hurt her. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm seeing, people. Now, don't get me wrong. Valentina is an alien. She could very well come in here and take that belt back. That's not going to surprise me. But she is in a tight spot. She's dealing with a fighter who's going to be in her face the whole fight, who she really has a hard time hurting. Marching me down, and Grasso is moving rather at a very relaxed pace, but she's constantly coming after Valentina. People, fighters don't really fight Valentina like that. They don't. So Grasso prefers a slower pace. She prefers a slower pace. But you really make Grasso comfortable if she can fight at that slower pace and still be the fighter walking forward. That's a huge problem with Valentina. I'm telling you right now, if she wants that belt back, she's going to have to put a stop to that. Or that marching. You don't want the champion in there marching you down, especially when that champion is welcoming, exchanging with you. Grasso seems to welcome an exchange, a back and forth with Shevchenko. That Shevchenko does not want. She tries her best to get up out of those types of skirmishes. She don't want to stand there and trade with you, but that's what Grasso acts like she wants. Constantly creeping closer, and then she gets close and tees off. 2-strike combination, 3-shot combination. They got power, her shots got speed. So this is just giving Shevchenko all types of anxiety in there. Like, this girl is hard to hurt. She's hard to keep down. She's not intimidated by my power. She's constantly walking towards me. She's willing to allow me to hit her. What is wrong with this girl? What is wrong with Alexa Grasso? I got to go back in here. Round 2. Lord. But you have to stop Grasso from fighting like that. And I don't think Shevchenko is that type of fighter. Man, this feels weird. It just seems like a fighter that has Shevchenko's number. Not so much that she would beat Shevchenko every time she fought her, but she's the type of fighter Shevchenko would barely beat. Split decision type of fight. And that's the fight I see taking place in the rematch, where it's razor close. This is just an odd style for Valentina. Razor close, and in those types of fights, the champion usually wins again. And let me tell you another problem. It's far more likely that Grasso wins a decision now, because I believe they look at Grasso as being a bigger money maker, bigger attraction than Shevchenko. The Mexican market. Grasso is almost at 1 million followers on social media. She's undefeated at flyweight. We can't even say that about Shevchenko no more. I suspect they look at Grasso as the right. Plus, she's younger, right? I don't know how much younger. So it might be very difficult for Valentina to win a decision. That's why I'm not doing that. I'm not taking that chance. Almost every time Shevchenko is faced with resistance from her opponent, it goes to a decision. When her opponents are being aggressive with her, willing to come in on her, Shevchenko, she's in trouble. And notice, when fighters creeping up on her, they get close, start throwing strikes. Look at who the first person to leave the pocket is. I'm telling you now, Valentina is always the first fighter bouncing up out the pocket. Now, I'm not criticizing that. I think that's a smart thing to do. I'd do the same thing too. If I had the ability, I'd pop you a couple times and get up out that pocket. I'm not going to sit there and allow you to hit me with your raggedy shots. Yeah, help you to make your punches look good. No, I'm going to sting you a couple times and then get up out of there. But you see, it's a problem fighting like that if your opponent does not respect your power. Because the only thing that's going to happen, you're going to leave the pocket and they're going to follow you again and create another pocket. And then it's just going to look like you don't really want to engage. You can't fight like that against the champion. I suspect the only way Valentina's going to take that belt, she has to utterly dominate all 5 rounds or stop Alexa Grasso. So Shevchenko will have to show a true, genuine level up. And I think she can. Like I've talked about several times, she seems like she's very reserved. Shevchenko, it reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. It's very frustrating watching these types of fighters perform. Shevchenko and Floyd Mayweather are extremely, extremely similar in that regard. Floyd Mayweather had great defense as well. Low volume. For the most part, low volume. His versatility, I think, is the main thing that got him through his career. You know, he was very versatile, extremely versatile. Valentina doesn't really show you too many different types of Valentina. She does not switch styles that drastically between, with different, when she's faced with different opponents. It doesn't look like she uses that many types of ways or strategies. It doesn't look like she tailors her game plan for her opponents as much. She more so, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they do, but I think she more so goes by what she sees and feels in the actual fight. That's when you truly get a grasp of what you're dealing with and what to do. It's hard for me to see Valentina looking extremely different, or at least noticeably different in this rematch. Not all throughout the fight, not all 5 rounds. She might start off aggressive or have a little pocket here of aggression, a little outburst. But it's hard for me to see her just fighting in a different style aside from the one she's been using her whole career. I suspect she don't know no other way to fight. And if that's the case, Grasso may simply have her number. And I would think Grasso would then go on to lose to somebody whose style that ain't going to work on. Erin Blanchfield, I think, would be a nightmare matchup for Alexa Grasso. If Grasso couldn't hurt Blanchfield, I would think it's only a matter of time. But I don't know about that. Grasso is pretty strong. So it's hard for Valentina to win a decision. Going up against the champion, most likely you're going to edge her even if you beat her on a decision. If it goes to a decision, listen, you got to give Grasso that much respect. If it goes to a decision, Grasso could be close enough. All she has to do is be competitive. And I think Grasso wins that decision. The UFC, I suspect, may want, because have they ever had a UFC Kyrgyzstan? Have they ever held an event in Russia? I mean, they did before, but this is Kyrgyzstan is her hometown for the most part. Now, Mexico is a whole different story. Them fans would flock to Mexico. Grasso could be a huge moneymaker for the UFC. So I suspect that's going to make it harder for Valentina to win a decision. So I'm taking Alexa Grasso. It's too much against Valentina. It's too much against her. I feel like I know her quite well. Now, maybe she does come out here and show some type, turn into a demon. If she does, I'll be entertained. You know, maybe she does come in here and wreck shop. I will be entertained. And I will be blown away. Good thing is, no matter what happens, I'm going to be blown away. I'm going to be surprised by this, by the outcome. And that's what makes this a good fight. Jamal said, when do they remove a fighter from the rankings? When they are inactive for a long period of time? That's a good question. I was just thinking the same thing about Rose. That's why I think I even put it in the title. She's ruining the division. It's like I said she'd be doing. Turning down fights. How many fighters is it now that has called her out? And she hasn't said a word. That can't help the division. It only hurt it. Rose a top fighter in that division. She needs to be active, man. Especially, there's no real reason why she's inactive. She just don't want to fight. Okay, well, don't want to be ranked. How about that? You want to wrestle and be in a submission underground? Knock yourself out. We're going to take you out the rankings. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. You know, I'm not sold on Mackenzie Dern yet. Even though she beat the life out of Angela Hill. Where is Angela Hill? Is she talking any smack yet? I want to hear what she got to say. She always got something to say after a fight. I know she got something to say. I want to hear it. I have to check her. I haven't checked her social media. But yeah, hats off to Manon Fiorot. That's the other fight that I was talking about, people. These are the 2 biggest fights of the year. In my book. These 2 biggest fights of the year. Now, Jamal made a good point. He said if Amanda Nunes can change stances and do something different like she did in her last fight, I believe Valentina can as well. We will see. Yes, and I suspect Nunes might just be more versatile than Valentina. Some high-level fighters, they're high-level fighters, but they're not versatile. They can't really change their own style drastically. You can find bums who can change their own style drastically to suit their opponent. Fighters who are not all that skilled. But the ability to do what Nunes did, you need a special mentality. You know, that takes talent. Because you got to get used to the stance that you're in. And Nunes was switching constantly. So we'll see. Like I said, if Valentina comes in here and looks like a sort of a different fighter, I'm going to be blown away. And I'm going to definitely say that Valentina needed that. I suspect that I'm going to end up saying that now. If she comes out here looking different, a lot better, then most definitely that loss is exactly what she needed. And it will prove that she has been sort of laid back, lackluster, gotten used to being dominant. We'll see what happens. But this fight here, one of the biggest fights in a very long time. Definitely this year, it is number 1 or 2. So for the first time, we're going to see one of them lose. That's the tough part. Now I'm taking Manon over Aaron. Taking a Manon. But Manon, I'm 49-51. Yeah, I have to say it. How many of y'all looked into this fight? I'm going to take Manon. I think Aaron is a lot easier to hit than Manon. But have y'all looked into the stats of these two? This is Manon. Look at this. She's 5'7". Aaron Blanchfield is, I think, 5'4". 5'4". 5'4" against 5'7". So Manon, noticeably taller. At least 3 inches. Look at the reach. This is Manon. 65-inch reach. 65. Aaron Blanchfield, 68. So Manon has a 3-inch height advantage. But Aaron has a 3-inch reach advantage. Talk about a funny looking fight. The much shorter fighter got much longer arms. Not much longer, but that's pretty significant. 3 inches. So it's not like Manon is going to be able to stand on the outside and pick Aaron apart. So let's put an end to that prediction already. I know a lot of people going to start talking about that. Yeah, just stay on the outside and pick her apart. Aaron got long arms. She built like a baboon or one of those chimpanzees. Or orangutan or one of them animals. Real freaky long arms. She is funny looking. She funny built. She looked chubby. Long arms, short. But I'm going to take Manon because of her movement and kicks. I suspect will give Aaron a problem. But let me tell you, Aaron, I think, is going to go for a takedown. She is going to try to take this fight to the ground because I think Manon's striking is going to be a little too much. It's the speed of Manon, the movement of Manon, how she jumps in and out of the pocket. I think she moves better than Aaron. So when you add on top of that Manon is more difficult to hit, I have to take Manon. Boxing, they both got good boxing. Manon, faster. Okay? Manon is far more prolific throwing kicks. Far more. Though Aaron throws her share of kicks as well. She's thrown a lot of good highlight reel head kicks in her some of her fights. Looking at her, she looking all chubby. You'd think she wouldn't be throwing kicks like that, but she throws kicks. I'm rolling with Manon though. But I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. But this is one of the biggest fights of this year. One of the biggest fights in a very long time. As well as Weili against Lemos. These three fights. That's up there too. That's right up there. In fact, that's probably above. I put that above the other two. Oh yeah. I've seen Shevchenko fight Grasso already. That's the suspense in a fight is just seeing the two fighters fight. It's the first time this is a fantasy type matchup right here. Lemos against Weili. Oh, definitely. But it's happening. It's happening. So this is good for UFC. It's good for WMMA. These are high caliber fights. Okay, so the 2024 has the potential of looking a whole lot different than 2023. We got people who think Weili is going to dominate her with wrestling. I don't know about that. I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. Striking, they're both dangerous. On the ground, they're both dangerous. This fight shouldn't fail at all. Dangerous offensively. Striking. Dangerous offensively on the ground. But Lemos has better defense. I think that is going to be the difference in this fight. That Lemos is able to avoid more shots. And Weili is much easier to hit than Amanda Lemos. But massive fantasy matchup type of fight. And good for them. All three fights are for this year. Now, if they make 2 or 3 more big fights, 2023, I think will have made up for a lackluster beginning. I feel like the first 6 months this year was not all that. But if they can close off the last 6 months with quality fights, yeah, they'll make up for it. Good for them. But maybe these are not the 3 biggest fights of this year in other people's minds. If that's what you think, then let us know what other fights are the biggest or other big fights in general. What happened here? Okay. This fight here is a good fight. And this is a low tier fight, but this is the former Invicta champion, Ketlin Souza. So yeah, this is big, in my opinion. I'm taking Karine Silva until somebody beats her. Big, strong, dangerous. I'm sorry. I mean, Ketlin Souza. Let me show y'all something here. I believe I checked her record before. Sure dog. We do Wikipedia. Okay. So she's on a 5-fight win streak. 5-fight win streak. Where we at here? Okay, I don't see. Okay. So Karine Silva does not have a Wikipedia. That's cool. That is cool. I want to look at her record. Oh, what is this? Okay. Okay, y'all see that, right? Oh. This is Ketlin Souza's record. She was knocked out twice and submitted once. Ariane Carnelossi. Carnelossi currently fights at 115. Right? And she was knocked out by Carnelossi. And also knocked out by this no-name. Who's this? Never heard of her. And she's on a 5-fight win streak in Invicta. Not even Invicta. Silver Combat. Star Combat. She's only had 2 Invicta fights. I'm not taking her. Have you seen her fights? I'm not that blown away. No way. No. What is this? Okay, spelled it wrong. Now let's take a look at. Now she got 4 losses. I think Souza is on a longer win streak. I'm taking Silva. What is this? Yeah, she stopped Poliana. Stopped a fighter on the Contender Series. Okay. Not too much of a difference between their records. A 5-fight win streak versus a 6 for Karine. I'm taking Karine. Right? I wouldn't want my female fighter in there with Karine Silva. Yeah? That's a big scary chick. And that's pretty much it. You know, there's not much going on. As you all see, I have a new channel. An all new channel. I used my old channel for something else. I was thinking about getting rid of or giving that other channel away, actually. You know, just letting people have their subscribe. I was about to give it to, what's that guy? Combo Breaker. You know, do good stuff. I feel like my subscriber base would have translated over easily. You know, they would have logged on and saw, oh, there's a new show host. Oh, who is this? But then I'm going to use it for a whole different channel. Now, what is wrong with this? I must need an update or something. This thing is acting. Let me get off of here for this computer crash. In the world, I have a feeling the fight is standing with 10 seconds left in the first round. Weili will get clipped and hurt, but will survive. Weili will finish Amanda Lemos in 3. Okay. It's possible. That could very well happen. I don't put that past Weili at all. Listen, I don't doubt Weili's ability at all. She could come in here and steamroll Amanda Lemos. I always stay true with my criteria. I use a system to make predictions. I use a system. And I say it all the time. When fighters got high-level striking, like Lemos and Weili do, I tend to always go with the fighter who's harder to hit. And every time you see that, that's usually who wins the fight. The fighter who's harder to hit. So defense is going to be a mother for Weili Zhang. I think she's going to need better defense than she's ever shown in the past. We will see. Right? But I'm excited. That is all for this live stream. I will see you on the next.